Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on one of the most stressful, high-stakes decisions literally any homeowner makes, setting the perfect listing price. If you're gearing up to sell a property in the Greater Toronto Area, or maybe you're already on the market and kind of wondering why your phone isn't ringing off the hook, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to do a deep dive into the data to figure out how to pinpoint your true market value, pulling some fantastic insights from a market checkup guide by Team Dhami Realtors. Okay. Let's dive into this right away with a quote that completely flips traditional selling logic on its head. Ironically, homes priced accurately often sell for more than homes that start too high. It's incredibly counterintuitive, isn't it? Because as sellers, our gut instinct is to shoot for the moon, right? We think, hey, we can always negotiate down later. But in today's highly informed GTA market, an accurate price isn't just about being realistic. It's a deliberate, tactical strategy to actually maximize your final profit by pulling in the right pool of competitive buyers from day one. So here's our roadmap for today. First, the price tag trap. Second, drivers of GTA home value. Third, busting home pricing myths. Then, warning signs of overpricing. And finally, reviving a stalled listing. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The price tag trap. Expectation versus reality. Look, selling a home is intensely emotional. You've lived your life there, made memories, and naturally, you want the absolute highest number possible. But that very desire often leads us straight into our first major hurdle. The biggest trap sellers fall into is comparing their home to active listings instead of sold properties. Think of active listings a bit like lottery tickets. They just represent what a seller hopes to receive, their ultimate wish list. But a successful pricing strategy has to be grounded in absolute reality. Sold properties represent the concrete truth of what buyers actually opened their wallets and paid. If you price based on your neighbor's active listing, you're pricing based on a wish, not a fact. And that brilliantly illustrates the absolute golden rule of real estate. Market value is not determined by what you originally paid for the house. It's not determined by the balance left on your mortgage or the amount you need to buy your next dream home. It is determined exclusively by what qualified, ready-to-act buyers are willing to pay in today's market conditions. Full stop. Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 2. Drivers of GTA home value, the data behind the price. Okay, setting emotions aside for a second, let's look strictly at the hard data points that actually move the needle for buyers in the Greater Toronto Area. A staggering 95% of GTA buyers prioritize location above all else. This means things like school districts, transit access, and proximity to employment centers heavily dictate your home's value. You could literally have two homes with the exact same floor plan, the exact same bricks, but if one is near a major transit hub and the other isn't, they are operating in completely different pricing universes. After location, it's condition at 82%, size and layout at 75%, market timing at 68%, and lastly, upgrades at 55%. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the reality check it gives on renovations. If you're doing upgrades just to sell, pay close attention here. A kitchen renovation generally yields about a 60% return on investment in the GTA. Bathrooms sit at roughly 50%. And hey, even that fully finished basement only comes in around 30%. So please don't expect a dollar-for-dollar return on that custom home theater. Not all renovations are created equal, and you almost never get every single dollar back. Let's talk about market timing, which, remember, accounts for 68% of buyer prioritization. Just look at these wild swings in GTA year-over-year price appreciation. We were up 24% in 2021, soaring another 30% in 2022, then boom, dropping 10% in 2023, before stabilizing at a 5% increase in 2024. This visual timeline really hammers home just how incredibly dangerous it is to price your home based on the peak of a past market. Interest rates, inventory, buyer demand, they change in a flash. You absolutely must price for today. Moving right along to Section 3, busting home pricing myths, logic over emotion. All right, time to dismantle some emotional blind spots. Myth number 1, my renovations add dollar-for-dollar value. As we just saw with the ROI data, this is simply not reality. Handing your realtor a $50,000 receipt for a custom kitchen does not automatically bump your listing price by $50,000. Buyer demand ultimately dictates the value of those shiny new upgrades, not your construction costs. Myth number 2 is an absolute classic. My neighbor sold for $1 million, so mine is obviously worth the same. Well, the reality is that minor differences create major price gaps. Your neighbor might have a slightly deeper lot, a layout that flows just a bit better, a brand new roof, or they might have just sold during a weird week with historically low inventory. Even for houses on the exact same street, nuance dictates the final number. And myth number 3, which is probably the most dangerous one of all, I can always just lower the price later. Sellers love using this to justify an inflated starting price. But the harsh reality? The first few weeks your property is on the market generate the absolute highest visibility and interest you will ever get. If your initial price is wrong, you destroy your momentum out of the gate. And once that initial excitement is gone, it rarely comes back, even if you do drop the price later. Section 4. Warning signs of overpricing. Diagnosing the symptoms. Think of this part like a quick clinical diagnosis. Here are the glaring market signals you simply cannot ignore. Few showings. Buyers are filtering you out based on price before even stepping foot inside. Online traffic, but no appointments booked. The value just isn't there compared to the alternatives. Showings, but zero offers. That usually points directly to price or condition. Consistent negative feedback from agents, you really need to listen to it. And finally, the ultimate red flag. If comparable homes in your neighborhood are selling and yours remains active, the market is loudly, clearly rejecting your price. Which leads us to Section 5, reviving a stalled listing, your action plan. Okay, so what do we actually do about it? Well, first things first, don't panic. It is time to regain control. Before you immediately slash the price, I want you to climb this logical ladder. Step 1, review your photography. Poor images make spaces look dark and tiny. Professional photos are completely non-negotiable today. Step 2, improve your staging. Simple decluttering, maybe rearranging some furniture, throwing on a fresh coat of paint, it can entirely transform a space. Step 3, evaluate your marketing. Is your home actually getting proper digital and social media exposure? Now, if you've optimized those first 3 steps and the house still isn't moving, then you reach Step 4. Reassess your pricing strategy based on all the feedback you've gathered. So, the crucial point is this. Chasing the market ultimately costs you money. Properties that sit too long develop a stigma. As the days on market tick up, buyers inevitably start wondering, hey, what's wrong with this house? Your negotiating power weakens day by day, and you start attracting lowball offers. Responding to market feedback early is always the smarter financial decision. But hey, the good news is you absolutely do not have to figure all these variables out on your own. Team Dhami Realtors offers a zero-obligation, totally data-driven home value checkup. They'll dive into the recent sales, assess your property's unique upgrades and layout advantages, review your current marketing if you're already listed, and formulate a customized pricing strategy based entirely on current conditions rather than just relying on guesswork. I want to leave you with this final, essential question to ask yourself. Is your home priced for what the market was, or what buyers will actually pay today? When you learn to look at your property through the lens of current data rather than past expectations, you take the emotion out of the process, and you take the power back. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy selling.